Welcome back, everybody. We're diving deep today.
Deep.
Into a single source.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a novel called The Wind Bloweth.
Okay.
And through it, we're going to try and, unravel this guy, Shane Campbell.
Uh-huh.
What makes him tick? Why does his life unfold the way it does? I think you're going to love this one.
I'm excited.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
This blend of adventure and philosophy and Irish culture, all kind of woven together.
Yeah, what's really interesting about The Wind Bloweth is it's written like a series of journal entries.
Oh, cool.
So you really get into Shane's head. You're not just reading about him. You're right there with him, experiencing all the highs and lows.
Yeah, the joys and heartbreaks.
Exactly.
I was so drawn to his childhood in the glens of Antrim.
Yeah.
He just had this wanderlust even as a kid.
Totally. Even in his relationship with the land, when he turns 14, most kids are stuck in school, but Shane's out exploring the glen.
He's pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's so different from his mom,
Right? His mom is very practical.
It's very grounded.
Yeah. Focused on the here and now.
Right. And then his Uncle Robin is a scholar.
Yeah.
So you've got these two opposites almost,
Yeah.
and he's in the middle.
Totally. I think they both shape him in different ways.
Right.
It creates this tension in him, this struggle that you see throughout his whole life.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then there's this moment he has when he's a boy.
Oh, yeah.
When he sees what he calls Dancing Town,
Mm-hmm.
this mirage of a city over the sea.
Yeah, like a vision almost.
It's like this premonition, and it just ignites this wanderlust in him.
It makes me think about those times when you see something, beyond your understanding, and how do you respond to that? Do you chase it?
Do you run towards it or do you run away?
Exactly.
It makes me wonder, will he ever find this dancing town?
Yeah, is it a real place or is it metaphorical?
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Let's keep reading.
But before we set sail with Shane, I think it's important to talk about his early experiences with love and loss.
Because that really shapes him.
Exactly. It lays the foundation for his emotional, landscape.
Yeah. And it all starts with his arranged marriage.
Right.
Moira Dolan.
Yeah, Moira Dolan.
And it's so sad because, she dies so young.
So young.
Yeah. And the book just paints this vivid picture of the wake.
Oh, yeah. So powerful.
The grief, the tradition, the words of her mother, Pegeen.
Oh, yeah. I love that scene at the wake. And it tells you so much about Shane.
Yeah.
On the surface, he's stoic, upholding tradition.
Yeah. Honoring her.
But underneath, there's this deep grief.
Yeah.
And what Pegeen says, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh and whither it goeth.
Wow.
That foreshadows the whole book.
Yeah, it's like a mantra.
It is. It's we're not in control,
Right. It's a very Irish sentiment too, right?
Yeah.
Just accepting fate.
The melancholy and the resilience.
Yeah, it's in their music, their poetry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's his grief is part of his cultural identity.
It's woven in.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, and it's this loss, this grief that leads him to the sea.
Right, to his ship.
To the Ulster lady.
Yeah, he distances himself from relationships. He just throws himself into his work.
Do you think he's running away?
I think he's trying to, outrun his grief.
Yeah.
Maybe lose himself in the vastness of the sea.
Makes sense.
But I also feel like the ship becomes more than just a ship.
Oh, yeah.
A symbol of the love he lost.
Interesting.
His independence, his freedom.
It's an extension of himself.
It is.
And it's through the Ulster lady, through those voyages, that he really encounters the world,
Yeah, the beauty and the harsh realities.
Yeah, and things are about to get a whole lot more complex when he sails into Marseille.
Oh,
But we'll have to save that chapter.
for next time.
For next time.
So Shane's found some solace at sea.
Yeah.
Kind of this freedom aboard the Ulster lady.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't outrun yourself forever.
Right.
And Marseille really becomes this turning point for him, wouldn't you say?
Totally. I mean, Marseille is where he meets Claire Anne.
Oh, Claire Anne.
This woman shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, she's so alluring.
And their connection is immediate and intense.
But complicated.
Oh, yeah, for
It
sure.
reminds me of those classic romances,
Yeah.
where the hero is captivated by this woman who's almost too good to be true.
Right. And her nickname, La Mielleuse,
The honeyed one,
adds to that.
doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a sweetness there.
A sensuality.
But also this sense of fleetingness.
Yeah, almost deceptive.
I think it foreshadows what's to come.
Yeah, I think so too.
This bittersweet nature of their relationship.
And then, of course, we find out what Claire Anne does.
Right, her profession.
It's such a harsh reality check for Shane.
Yeah, it shatters this image he has of her.
But it's interesting how she tries to protect that image. you know?
Yeah, she tries to shield him from the truth.
There's this, like, self-awareness that Clarion has that Shane doesn't.
Right, she understands the world.
The compromises.
Yeah, she's had to make them.
And I think she sees something in Shane, this, like, purity.
Yeah, like she wants to protect that.
It's so heartbreaking.
It is, and it forces Shane to confront his illusions about love, you know?
Yeah, the gap between his ideals and reality.
And that's a recurring theme throughout the book, isn't it?
Absolutely, from Beirut to Buenos Aires.
Yeah, he travels to all these far-flung places.
His worldview keeps shifting.
It does.
Like he's searching for something.
But he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, and then there's Fenzile in the Middle East.
Oh, Fenzile. Yeah, that's a whole other layer.
The cultural differences, the tension, the violence.
It all comes to a head.
It's so different from Clarion.
Right, Fenzile's a different kind of love.
More primal.
Yeah, more volatile.
And Shane learns about jealousy.
Possessiveness.
Yeah, the destructive power of it.
And he carries that lesson with him.
Even when he meets Hedda in Buenos Aires.
Hedda is such an interesting character.
She's so independent.
Fiercely pragmatic.
Completely different from Clarion.
Right.
Yeah, she challenges Shane's assumptions about love and survival.
She has to make tough choices.
Compromises.
That Shane might judge.
But she's strong.
Resilient.
She represents a different way of being in the world.
And then after all these experiences with all these different women, he ends up back in Antrim.
Back where he started.
It's like he's come full circle.
It's not a triumphant return, though, is it?
No, it's a time of introspection for him.
Yeah, he's comparing himself to his family.
Yeah.
You know?
His father, the poet.
His uncle Alan, the explorer.
Yeah, and he feels like he hasn't measured up.
Like he hasn't found his purpose.
There's that scene where he's thinking about the poem his father wrote for his brother.
Oh, yeah, Anton.
About the sea, about adventure.
And it's like Shane sees himself in those words.
He realizes he's been chasing something external.
When maybe the journey's enough.
And that's where Grania enters the picture.
Grania, the woman of Tusaren.
She's such a force. She embodies Ireland, you know?
Its history, its struggles, its hopes.
And she's a catalyst for Shane.
She pushes him.
To confront his beliefs.
To make a choice.
A choice with big consequences.
I was captivated by Grania.
She's a mystery, but she's so determined.
She believes in her cause.
Completely.
And when she tells Shane her mission...
To smuggle guns.
From St. Petersburg to Lough Foyle...
It's a moral dilemma.
It really is.
Shane is torn.
Between his loyalty to her...
and his conscience.
It makes you think about the means and the ends.
Yeah. Does the end justify the means?
It's a tough question.
It is. And for Shane, it's not just about the cause. It's about Grania.
And Ireland. It's about belonging.
Yeah, finding his place.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're in the final part of our exploration of The Wind Bloweth.
Oh, it's getting good.
It is. We followed Shane from those early days in Antrim.
To the ends of the earth.
And now he's facing this risky mission for Grania.
Yeah, high stakes.
You know what strikes me is how the book kind of shifts here? It's not so much about romantic love anymore.
Yeah.
It's about loyalty commitment to something bigger than yourself.
I see that it's fascinating how Shane, who's always been searching for personal freedom, is now so invested in Grania's mission.
He's risking it all.
For Ireland, for something he doesn't even fully grasp yet.
And the mission itself, smuggling guns to fuel a rebellion?
Yeah.
It raises these questions about, you know...
the ends and the means.
Right, is it justified? Shane's really wrestling with his conscience.
He is, but remember Grania, she's more than just a political cause.
Right.
She embodies the spirit of Ireland.
Yeah.
The struggle, the resilience. And for Shane, this mission, it's almost like a way to connect with his heritage.
To find his place.
Exactly.
But of course, things go wrong.
As they do.
Grania's captured.
Uh-oh.
And suddenly it's not just about a cause. It's about saving someone he cares about.
The stakes get personal.
And it's facing death.
Yeah.
That Shane really transforms.
I love their conversations in the prison cell.
Me too. They're so powerful.
Grania's explanation of life and death, the strength of women.
Yeah, she's not afraid to die.
She sees it as a transition.
Part of the cycle.
She says the soul is like a salmon swimming upstream, always returning to its source.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It is.
And it ties back to that image of Dancing Town. Do you think maybe that was a premonition of death?
It could be, but maybe it's more like a spiritual homecoming.
Yeah.
Remember The Wind Bloweth. It's not just an adventure.
Right.
It's about life,
Death,
meaning.
And that ending the image of Shane swimming towards the unknown.
Battered but not broken.
So powerful. How do you interpret that?
It shows his resilience, his acceptance. He's not trying to control his fate anymore.
He's letting go.
Trusting the flow of life.
So what are your takeaways from The Wind Bloweth?
I think for me it's the idea that purpose isn't always about reaching some big goal.
Right.
It's about the journey, the ups and downs, the unexpected moments of beauty.
Finding meaning in it all. Well said. And for our listeners out there, I hope this deep dive has left you with something to think about.
Yeah. What's your dancing town?
What are you searching for?
What drives you?
What will your journey be? Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.